Good afternoon, FATA members. Today we are excited to welcome Daniel, who is going to be discussing the buying networks. We met him at NAFTMA back in February, and it's a fascinating opportunity for you to save a lot of money. And we hope you learn a lot today. Just want to go through some housekeeping like we always do. Just remind everyone if you're having technical difficulties hearing, I'm not moving my screen. Um, well, we'll forget about the slides. Talk about technical issues, but just let us know if you can't hear us. Keep yourself on mute, whichever one is, and I will let Daniel take over.
Thank you. It's great to be here with everyone. Just a quick sort of introduction of myself and how I got started with the company. I've been with the buying networks for just over 5 years now. I started in our customer service department and sort of worked my way from there over into account management. So now I work on our account management team with Bill Pitcher, who was supposed to be here today but got called away to another call. I think his name is still on one of my slides. So I now work with Bill on our account management side of things, but am very familiar through my customer service experience with all of our vendors and the different areas that we work with. So I will go ahead and share my screen and pull up that slide. One moment. Are you able to see those slides? Okay, perfect. So we are what's called a group purchasing organization or a GPO. And what we do is we help partner with farms, entertainment industry across the board. We work with a lot of childcare centers to help them in their strategic purchasing as well as offering savings. So the way that that works is there's no cost to become a member. Our goal is really to partner with you guys to help you see where we're able to save you money. So with that, the company was started in 2008 by our CEO. He originally started the company because he owned a camp and he was seeing sort of wasted spending with some of the other camps that he worked with, and really was just looking to see where he could help them save money. So we specialize in the entertainment space, and we've seen a lot of growth in the agritourism area. With that, I have to give credit where it's due. That's really because Bill Pitcher, my manager, used to work as the food service director on a farm. So that's somewhere that's really near and dear to his heart. So he's really the one that's been pushing that and then has been able to loop me into some of that. So we have over 4,000 active clients, and we are partnered with Premier and Omnia, which are two of the largest group purchasing organizations in the country with over $100 billion annually between the two of them. There's over 300 useful contracts that they've been able to negotiate, as well as they're both very committed to transparency. So they offer a bunch of information that lots of other GPOs won't necessarily offer as far as what their contracts look like, what the terms of that look like. And then we have just some of the farms and organizations that we work with. So this is a great example. French fries are where we sort of like to highlight. With that, the price on the left is what you may see with a street sales if you're going through something like Cisco or Gordon. And then the price on the right is what the Premier Omnia program is able to offer. And we sort of like to say with that, you can kind of pay what the sales rep tells you to pay, or you can pay what the contract tells you to pay. And we are kind of that middleman that offers that access to the contract. Um, so with that, we are kind of at the center of it all. Premier and Omnia negotiate the contracts with the manufacturers themselves, and they help lock in that pricing as far as the contracts are concerned, as well as they put limits on how much the manufacturers are able to increase that pricing and when they're able to increase it. So for US Foods, for example, is one of the big ones that we use. There are over 200 negotiated contracts that Premier and Omnia have negotiated with the manufacturers themselves. And so if the manufacturers need to increase their pricing, they really have to show why it is that they're increasing that pricing. They can't just have that fluctuation. They can't say things like, it's inflation, we had to increase our pricing. They really have to show that uh, by the terms of their contract. So that helps guard against some of the inflation and some of the changing things in the market and with the day-to-day shifts in that. And then we also help manage the relationship with the distributors and the manufacturers. So we help manage things with US Foods and all of the other distributors that we work with. We help coordinate that as far as getting the supplies and getting the things to the members themselves, as well as the member end. We're here as a helping hand. We partner with all of our members. Being on the account management team, that's what my job is to work with our members to see where we can help them save and see what areas we're able to partner with them. So we will go as deep or as little as you want. So if there's one vendor that you're able to utilize, we're happy with that. If you want us to look at across the board, we're happy to do that as well. And sort of a highlight of the way that that works, again, French fries are a wonderful example of this, is typically with supplies coming from the manufacturer, no matter who they're going to, if they're going to a Cisco or a Gordon or Cheney Brothers, they will all be shipped out at the same price. And then on top of that, the suppliers will add on their markup on top of that. So the way that this contract works is their contract is negotiated with the manufacturers, and they offer a lower price to Premier and Omnia's clientele, which is where some of that savings comes in. Then with that, US Foods, through their contract with Premier or with Premier, also locks in their markups at a significantly lower rate than the average. So we will typically see the markup on a case of French fries, for example, is usually somewhere between 10 and 15%. The markups we see with US Foods on this program are somewhere around 7 to 9%. And then additionally, after that locked in markup as well, there's also rebates that the manufacturers offer that are paid out quarterly. We sort of like to say that's the icing on top of the cake. Really, the savings on the program is at the front end and it's loaded into that pricing. And then there's just a few rebates that are paid out quarterly that are just an additional perk of being under this program. As well as there's some incentives that US Foods offers for being a new customer, for maximizing the benefits of the program as well. With that, you don't need to read it. It's just a snapshot of over 200 manufacturers that Premier has negotiated contracts with. US Foods is the primary provider that's utilized for the food end of things. The reason for that is because Premier has a long-standing relationship with them of over 30 years. They make up over a quarter of US Foods revenue, and there is also around $10 billion going through that contract. So with that, what you guys are able to receive is, instead of being negotiating off of whatever spend you have alone, you are able to fall under that $10 billion contract. So the pricing that is negotiated with the manufacturers with US Foods is based off of that total spend, instead of, a smaller thing. For instance, we've had several farms come to us that may only spend $25,000, $50,000 on food a year, and they're like, I only ship from September through October, and US Foods won't service me. We have then gone to US Foods and said, hey, we have this farm that's looking to utilize US Foods. And under this program, they've been able to get them service and been able to bring them onto this program. With that, the average savings we've seen in the agritourism space on US Foods is around 17%. And then there's just some additional perks of that program and the contract that's been negotiated with US Foods is that there's no fuel surcharges. It's a $350 minimum order, which is significantly lower than what you'll see for most broadline food service providers. And then there's, like I said, several back-end incentives that US Foods pays out just for utilizing the program and for maximizing that. With that, we also have a produce provider that offers 12 to 15% savings on compared to the average produce providers. And they are actually a group of local produce service vendors. So a lot of the time, what will happen is you may already be working with one of those vendors, or it'll be someone local to you, and we're able to bring you on under the program with Produce Alliance and just get better pricing with local vendors that are there. They're the ones that are actually dropping things off and shipping it to you. So with that, we don't actually fulfill any of the things. You keep ordering through the vendors themselves. If you have an account with US Foods, you'll work with them. We're just here as that additional layer of support to see where we can help you guys save. With that, there's just a highlight of some of the other programs that we have as far as specialized food service. Pepsi has some great rebates on the back end through the contracts that have been negotiated with them. And then we also offer a full range of food service equipment. And with that, we are able to help guide you guys through that process of getting quotes, any paperwork that needs to be done. That's really what we're here to do. Um, and then this just highlights some of the vendors that we work with. We really have anything across the board, from equipment to pest control to office supplies. Pretty much, if you're going to be spending around $1,000 on something, please reach out to us because we probably have a vendor that can help you get it for a lower price. And with that, there is no cost and no contract to utilize any of the vendors that we work with or our program. We really just want to help you guys save wherever possible. The way that we get paid is a small administrative fee from the vendors for bringing them business, because I know that's a lot of the time you start hearing, okay, we can save you 15%. Where's the catch? Where are you guys making your money? What's the benefit for you out of this? So we get paid a small administrative fee from the vendors. We don't charge you anything. Our goal is to partner with you. And with that, as far as the next steps, you can by all means reach out to us. Bill's contact information is on here as well as mine. And we will absolutely pull together pricing for you if you're interested in some of the vendors that I've mentioned, or if you have other needs that we didn't mention that you are looking to see if you can get better pricing on, we can by all means dig into that with you. And then the process of joining is just an enrollment form that's sent via DocuSign. You just click it and sign it and get enrolled into the Premier Omnia program. And then we will work with you as far as any of the setup, any of the paperwork that's required for the specific vendors. And then I don't know if anybody had any questions or anything that you guys wanted to go over. I'm happy to answer those, or even if someone watches the video later, by all means feel free to reach out to me.
So I did have one question. What's the most requested items by farmers where the buying networks has made a difference in their bottom line?
That would probably be food at this point. So a good example of that, there was one farm that Bill was working with that he went out, he was trying to get a hold of them. They were really big in the end of summer, going into fall. He went out and actually visited them in person, started talking to them about it. He was like, "Hey, I know we're in the middle of your season. I know you probably aren't going to change right now. I just want to talk to you about what we can do." And then one of the guys was like, "Okay, show me your pizza crust price. Show me the price of this." And Bill started going through the pricing with him, and based off of the savings that he saw on the couple of items that Bill had gone over with him, they made the switch in the middle of their season because of the advantage of coming to the Premier US Foods program.
Wow.
So even with the hassle of making that change in the middle of their busiest season, the savings that was offered through that program was enough for them to be willing to do that. So by far, I would say food is probably the biggest place we've seen a difference, but I've seen things across the board, but definitely with farms it would be food.
And you have farms that are really small too, who maybe only do one festival a year, or do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's again, US Foods is kind of the area I hit because it's one of our biggest areas that we work with. But that's one of the advantages of the contracts being negotiated is most of the vendors lower their pricing significantly or their minimum orders significantly to accommodate that program. US Foods, for example, if you're able to place a $350 order once a year, they will keep that account open and active, and they will work with you to get that shipped out to you once a year. So we have people that have extremely limited seasons that are only open, 2, 3, 4 weeks or weekends out of the year, and we're able to help them with that. And that's actually a big benefit of the program and of the contracts that are negotiated under the GPO is instead of trying to figure out getting pricing just on your own, you're able to sort of come under that umbrella of a group purchasing organization and have the advantages of that as well.
I had a question on the last slide. I saw Cintas and like United Rentals. Let's say like currently we have an account set up with them. If we were to go through you all, does that give that additional money off, with companies like Cintas or the United Rentals?
Yeah, so the majority of our vendors, there are some restrictions, but I know with
Okay.
Cintas specifically, the majority of our vendors are able to tie existing accounts to the program pricing. Some of them, it'll just be you filling out a letter saying, "Hey, I want to move my account to this program," and then they'll link that on the back end. And that's, again, the benefit of it being fulfilled through the vendors. None of the ordering changes as far as that's concerned. None of your day-to-day operations would change. It would just be the back end. They would tie you to the contract with
Okay.
that. The only caveat I will give is with US Foods specifically, if you're on street sales with US Foods, there is the potential of the rep changing, just because it's a national account and their reps are trained more on this program as opposed to local sales. But the majority of our vendors do offer the ability to link existing accounts to the contracts.
Now, how would that work specifically with somebody like United Rentals, where, because we have 9 different locations and we rent quite a bit of equipment from United Rentals. So how would something like that work? Do we still use our same rep that we call on and off equipment rentals, or would we coordinate directly through you all, or even with any of the services or vendors that you have? Is that buying order, and you may have said this, I apologize. Does that go through you all or we contact the company directly?
So we are there as an additional layer of support. With United Rentals, I am not familiar enough with the program to know if they would allow you to keep that same rep and keep contacting them. I
Okay.
believe it would allow you to keep contacting that same rep, but it would be any of the questions you have as far as getting fulfillment of orders and products. That's all still goes through the through the vendor themselves. So
Okay.
if you're working with United, for instance, anything you need as far as getting those rentals would go through them. If for some reason they weren't responding to you or you weren't getting a reply or needed help with something, we are here with that. And the benefit of what we are able to do is because the pricing and you sort of fall under that umbrella, we are then able to escalate that up the chain to some of our national contacts that are higher up. So
Okay.
it may be you dealing with a local rep may not be able to get a response, but we are typically able to escalate that if needed to someone that will get you a response.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I don't know if anyone else had any other questions, but I did receive confirmation that Bill and I will both be at your convention in July. So if anyone has any questions, my email is here, Bill's email is here. You can absolutely reach out to us with any additional questions, and we're also looking forward to seeing everybody in person. I don't know if anyone else has anything else.
I just really appreciate you being here, Daniel. I mean, when we met you at NAFTMA, we recognize the real value that you can bring to our members. It's almost like I said it earlier to Bill. You're a agritourism operator who regularly uses Costco or BJ's or any of those big box stores to purchase their products, and even Amazon. It's like all mashed up into one, and it's more convenient and lower cost, and can really help our members.
Yeah. You'll be hearing from me.
Well, and I appreciate you doing this webinar so that people know who you are. So when they meet you in NAFTA, or not, sorry, NAFTA, at our conference, when they meet you, they'll already kind of hopefully have a heads up of what you do. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you guys connecting us and reaching out to me. It was great meeting you guys at NAFMA, and we look forward to seeing how we can support your members. Like I said, the agritourism space is something we've kind of begun breaking into, but it's something that's near and dear to our heart, and that we've really seen a lot of growth in and a lot of opportunity to help people save.
well, we have over 400 members, so that's a lot of opportunity for you, hopefully. Jenny is one of our larger ones. She's got like 9 locations, like she said. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we actually I've been searching for something similar because we need to start breaking down the expense reporting for all the venues. It gets to be pretty pricey. So looking at this, so I'll definitely be giving you a call.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look forward to it.
Great. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Stay
thank
tuned
you.
for our next webinar next month. And don't forget to sign up for our 2026 conference down in Punta Gorda, Florida, July 19th through 21. Lots of announcements coming your way.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.